everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Circle of Fate Spinoff session or campaign, also known as the Orion campaign. We are here with our next guest. Why don't you introduce yourself to us? Tell us where you're from.
Hey, I'm Adam. I currently live in Kansas, but I've also called Maine my home in the U.S. And I prefer he as a pronoun. I have multiple cats, and I'm currently running a tabletop campaign with my pals over at Cool Cucumber in the Star Trek universe. So if you like Orions, then Orion's the green people in Star Trek.
Cool, yeah. We'll put a link on Adam's campaign down below if you guys want to check out that, especially for all of you Star Trek fans. And you might see some familiar faces in there, so that would be super cool. Awesome. So we're gonna kick things off and just dive right in.
I needed to talk to Rigel.
Sure. You'll enter her office.
Yeah.
She appears to be currently on the phone. So as soon as you enter, she gives you a one moment. Yes, of course. Thank you. I am looking forward to meeting him very soon. And then she will hang up the phone. Can I help you, Agent on attack? She says as she leans in and folds her arms.
Hello. I believe we should talk. I believe you already know what about.
Yes, I believe I do.
Go close.
Have a seat, she says. I'm listening.
I want to apologize for keeping it secret. I didn't know who I could trust here. But Michael believes that you are trustworthy, and I believe him. So I'm ready to tell you everything you need to know about why I'm here.
Continue.
I'm not entirely sure exactly how much he told you. You know that I am a witch?
I know you're a lot of things.
So you also know about the vampire thing?
That is what I've been informed.
I know it's a lot. It's not easy talking about it, but the fact is, despite the people you've seen in the circle, we're not all like that. A lot of us are just normal people trying to live normal lives. The way the magical world is built doesn't allow for that. And we wanted to change things. Because we believe it'll be...
Change how?
I think secrecy only builds fear. I don't want my people to be hunted down for no reason other than existing anymore. I don't want people who are born or made a certain way against their will to be refused jobs, education. We want to have equal rights as people, because we are. The ministry has been stagnant for centuries, and it needs to change, and I think by exposing them to the non-magical world, it can do that, because they'll finally be influenced by others.
So you believe that the best thing to do would be to reveal the truth to the masses?
Absolutely. I think it will be bumpy. There are always going to be people who don't like it, like with any kind of big discovery. There are people who still won't believe it, just like there are people who still don't believe we went to the moon. But I do think in the long run it would be for the better. We'd be able to work together as people, not separated between magic and no magic.
Your suggestion is very bold, Agent on attack. What exactly is your intention and plan for this?
As for my group that I'm with, more people in a similar situation, our goal is to... There's no way to really expose the Wizarding World without shocking a lot of people. We are planning peaceful demonstrations, just little things that show people, hey, this exists. Nothing harmful, nothing dangerous, just making lights turn on and off, or making things float. Things like that. And our goal is to do it on a scale big enough so that the ministry can't cover it up and has to compromise. Because otherwise, they'll just keep hurting people to keep their secret.
And what do you believe will come about the non-magical members of society?
In what sense?
Your suggestions, if I understand the situation correctly, your suggestions are very controversial. How is this going to affect everyone outside of the wizarding community?
I have no doubt some people would be scared. Some people might even be jealous. I know certain siblings of magical folk have been jealous of the lack of power. Others probably would be more accepting. In general, a lot of shock and a lot of adjustment. My bigger fear is how things react as a whole. The ministry, in particular, has been known to erase the memories of muggles who have witnessed magic. That's my biggest fear, is if they try to do that on a large scale, the side effects of it.
So what do you believe is our next move, or should be our next move?
Making allies and preparing for blowback. There's going to be it's not going to be smooth no matter how it's done. There needs to be a safe place for non-magical and magical people. There needs to be people who are neutral in any view of just we need to keep people safe. And I think we need to be preparing for that.
This ministry you speak of, she says as she rubs her temple, do you have access? Would you be able to communicate with them directly?
I might be able to. I used to be a part of it, technically. They're not very accepting of vampires, but I think I might have a few other connections that might be able to get me in.
How about the rest of you four, including Michael? Do you think you'd be able to have them participate in this audience before the ministry?
I think if we can get in with the right people, yes. It's finagling how to actually get in, especially since the ministry is extremely large. But I have some people I know who might be able to get this access.
In that case, my thought is for the four of you, your next mission will be to access the Ministry of Magic directly. Talk to them about the prospect of starting to reveal themselves to the rest of the non-magical world, as you say, and see where it goes from there. But I suspect this is going to be a very, as I said, delicate situation.
I agree. But I wanted to talk to you because I do believe you're a respectable person. And I wanted to warn you of the dangers.
I appreciate that, on attack. I'm not going to lie. I certainly had my reservations when it was revealed to me who you actually were. However, I do remember that over the course of the last several months, you've seemed to be rather respectable yourself. So far, there is no reason for me to believe that you have any ill will towards any of us here. And as long as it remains that way, there will be no repercussions.
Of course. The only thing I'd also like to offer is beware of spies from the ministry. I can guarantee you they would have heard of this by now. And they'll try to shut it down.
Determining whether or not there are spies amongst us is also not the easiest thing to do. Do you have a suggestion of how to suss them out if they actually did exist amongst us?
I have a way, but it is somewhat invasive and I prefer not to use it. The other way is just being very cautious, doing background checks on anyone that maybe seems off. Someone's born in the wizarding community, they won't exactly have too good of a muggle record. Non-magical record.
I agree. In fact, we can start with this one, she says, and she hands you a document. We have a new possible agent that will be joining in our ranks. His name is Jack Shipman. Born October 5th, 1992 in Denver, Colorado. He is a criminal psychologist. He has been specifically handpicked to interrogate and get into the minds of the people that we have brought into the circle. I would like for you to at least greet him, talk to him, see what you think.
Alright. I can do that.
Is there anything else, Agent Alnatak?
Well, there's something that Monsieur Brightwood kind of told me about, not in too much detail. But he said that apparently there has been the prospect of experimentation has been brought up.
Yes.
You can see that might be a bit of a concern for me and my people. Do you know if anything about that as of yet?
I know that one of the reasons why this agency was formed was to discover the truth and to learn as much as we can, especially if we believe there are things, entities out there that can pose a threat to us. Knowledge is power, and if there have been many things going on in this world that has caused the lives of innocent people, which I see based on our reports there has been, we don't want to be bumbling around in the dark.
I understand that. Personally, I would say I would be willing to volunteer for a few non-invasive things if that would help, and I have many people in my group who would be willing to do the same, so long as they are treated respectfully as volunteers.
She will nod. I will take that in consideration. Yes.
Well, I will certainly look into meeting this Jack Shipman, and see what I can discern from him, if whether or not he is of magical nature or not.
She will then nod. And if there's nothing else, she will dismiss you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your open honesty, Miss Alnatak.
Of course. She'll leave.
Today's date in game is going to be December. We are nearing the holidays now. And Agent Seif is going to provide you with some very disturbing reports that have been going on in Salem, Massachusetts, in America. Oh, Salem. Oh boy. I am going to let Adam tell you at pretty much what Agent Seif is telling you has been happening in Salem as of late. Why don't you explain the situation?
Attention agents. We've got several disturbing reports of missing persons and occasional cadavers located in Salem, Massachusetts. We're not entirely sure what the phenomenon entails, but we're sending you to investigate as soon as possible.
Agent Seif has gotten a lot more professional.
Yeah.
She's great. She's I think she got her her performance review and has been encouraging her to be a little bit more. Yeah, okay. So she's getting better at it. She might backpedal a little bit in the next mission, but right now she's trying something new. So, do you guys want to ask Agent Seif any questions?
Is there any kind of marks on the bodies?
None that were discernible or evident of the case. Obviously, random scarring and occasionally birthmarks and the like, but nothing indicative of the event or that lines up with the other cases discovered.
Has there anything recently been happening in Salem lately other than this that may be related?
I think what she would say is that there have been a lot of cases of missing people, especially children. Missing people, especially children, around the ages between, I would say, 10 to 14 years of age, roughly, 10 to 14 years of age. And these disappearances, I mean, there are children, unfortunately, who go missing every day, but a noticeable flux in these disappearances started happening. How long ago would you say, Adam?
Roughly 2-3 months.
Over the last 2-3 months.
Any other connections between the people who've gone missing? Ethnicity, gender?
They were mostly active. Those who weren't children were often vagrants or officers. Known to frequent local playgrounds.
A lot of the disappearances of the kids missing were last seen playing in the playgrounds.
Wow. That's not good. Okay.
What about cause of death?
Magically unknown. Medically unknown.
Alright. Let me...
Oh, this seems weird.
Yeah. Alright.
She will give you some files of people who have gone missing, and you've got a Janie Mayer, you've got a Colette Donovan, you've got a William Rodriguez. William Rodriguez is actually a police officer that went missing, and was later found. Where would you say the body of the police officer was found?
Probably in a local creek, not too terribly far from the location where he was last seen.
Did he still have his uniform on?
I imagine so.
Okay.
Any kind of wallet or currency on this person would be removed, but as far as clothes, they would have remained.
So many of the bodies, their valuables would have been taken, you would say. Okay.
Felix didn't speak up. Do we have any possible leads that have presented themselves?
I would say some eyewitnesses claim that when they last saw some of these kids, there was when they last saw these kids playing in the playground, there's a couple mentions, 2 or 3 mentions of them talking with this little girl around 12 years of age that seems to match in description. It's not the same playground though, but the playgrounds are within a relatively close distance of each other.
Alright.
The bodies had no discernible marks and unknown cause of death.
Yes. I'm afraid so.
Alright. Felix is going to spread out the files a bit and look over them, and then he's going to start concentrating on divination.
Roll me a divination, please.
That's a 16.
I'm going to say that the different files before your eyes start to fold themselves up, and you will see that it starts to form into the shape of a bridge. And in addition to that, some of the other papers start to form themselves and fold up into willows.
Alright. So, I think we're looking for a bridge surrounded by willow trees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look, they can't all be great successes. But at least it's something to go on.
Something. At the very least, it might be a dumping point if all the corpses that were found, was they all found in creeks and rivers?
Most of them were. 1 or 2 were found on the banks of said creeks. Looked like a rush job, but most of them were found in the creek themselves.
Alright.
It might be a dumping point.
Yeah. Is there a bridge near the creek?
One can only assume.
Well, let's...
There are 3 or 4 bridges near where the bodies were located.
Alright, I'm gonna see if I can find a map of the area and look over, check out all the bridges on the map to see which is the most likely area.
Let me go and do a Google search right now on Salem, Massachusetts Bridge. So there is the Veterans Memorial Bridge in Beverly, Massachusetts, which is in Salem. That's probably the best known bridge. Other than that, I think it would be kind of hard because I don't know how back in the day, back in 1999, how easily like you'd be able to just look up bridges, just random bridges in like village and city. So definitely the Veterans Memorial Bridge is the best known.
And
it's a really long bridge.
We could probably inquire with the locals about what this bridge might be. They'd probably recognize a bridge surrounded by willows.
I didn't know. Are willows common in Maine? I've never been there. If they're common, then it might be more difficult than we thought.
I'm gonna say that while Vienno is looking at some maps as well, he notices that there is a park called the Salem Willows Park in Massachusetts.
Well, that would be the best place, seeing that there's the willow in the name.
Oh,
No-brainer. Though it could be a red herring.
Well, it's the best one we have.
that's the best food we have.
And it's
I
the
don't like that we don't know how they died.
Dangerous, not knowing.
Yes, I have a thought.
There's extra information that Agent Seif was able to dig up, and she says there's something also particularly extra disturbing. There have been a few people, other kids who were with the kids who disappeared, who made claims that there was this girl that they started playing with, and when they asked the girl what her name was, she would say Nancy, but then there's another one who claimed that her name was Colette, another one who claimed that her name was Janie. But it seems like these eyewitnesses tended to describe the girl to be similar in appearance, despite the fact that she kept giving them different names.
Huh. Interesting.
Vienno, when you look at the names when you start looking at the files of the victims,
Yeah.
and Seif is telling you this, you're seeing Janie Mayer, this date, Colette Donovan, this date, William Rodriguez, this date, Nancy Bates, this date, Dustin Grieber, this date.
I have an idea. I think this person is taking the names that the person she killed last. Changing his name to be the name of the last person he killed.
Well, if this little girl is responsible, that is very concerning.
I mean, it's also possible she's the bait that leads the victims to the killer.
True.
Don't
Whatever
really
the case, we'll need to keep an eye out for this little girl. Is there do we know what the girl looks like?
Adam, if Seif was going to give a description, what would the description of the girl be?
While there is some variance and some fluctuation on description, most of them describe her as being fairly short for a girl of that general age description. Wears tattered clothes, and that she has jet black hair.
All right. Well,
Here.
well, we know we have a person to keep an eye out, which is probably our biggest lead. Let's check out the park and the bridge and see if we can maybe spot this girl.
I also want to see if we can't examine the bodies and discover a means of their death.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Agent Seif can give you guys some special permits that will allow you to take a look at the most recent body that was found. The body of Dustin Grieber, who is a 13-year-old boy.
All right.
I will admit, for a moment there, I thought you said Justin Bieber.
No, Dustin Grieber. I actually did not do that on purpose. I did. When you mentioned it, Justin Bieber. No, Dustin Grieber.
Hey Hart, can I ask what Grieber's nationality is?
Dustin Grieber, I would say that he is... I'm going to say that he's mixed Asian.
All right.
I would say more specifically mixed Indian. Mixed Indian.
And about how old was he?
13.
13.
Thank you. I'm trying to write down for my notes.
All right. All right, then.
Split it up and cover more ground, or do we want to go together this time?
I think it'd be best if there are people dying. We best stick together.
Last time didn't go so well when we were separated that well.
Yeah. Felix looks to Michael.
We all look to Michael.
Yeah, everybody looks at Michael.
Michael's just staring at the dead cop picture.
Oh.
Aw, poor Michael.
While all this is going on, Michael, if this is going to help you, Salem is actually a place that your family has gone to for vacation a few times. And it just so happens that Salem Willows Park is a favorite place that your family has gone to for a picnic. You actually have flashes memories of you and your dad running around in Salem Willows Park through these. It's by. It actually has a beach area, and you guys are probably like running around with a frisbee on the sand, with your mom's like setting up a picnic nearby.
Sweet.
All right.
So I don't know if there's anything on your face that is telling, but
He's definitely troubled looking. He definitely looks troubled.
everyone roll and observe spot or observe intuition, whichever is higher. I'm going to say that both Celeste and Felix notice that Michael is not acting like himself ever since Agent Seif mentioned something about Salem Willows Park.
You okay, Michael?
Whatever face he was wearing beforehand, he'll quickly snap out of it. Oh. Yes. Are we almost there?
Yeah, we're talking about how we are going to stick together for this.
Okay. Good plan.
Are you sure you're okay?
Never better.
Felix does not believe that.
Neither does Celeste.
Leave it aside.
Vida is a...
So
Maybe he's alright. Maybe not.
What should we hit up first then? Go to a park, maybe where they found some of the bodies, or actually go look at the body?
I think going to look at the body should be our first step.
More information that way.
Yeah.
We can talk to the coroner.
Sure.
You guys will arrive in Salem, and you guys will head towards the, I guess, to the station where they still have the body of the latest victim. In the interest of time, you'll have the paperwork available, and the officers, whoever is there, will give you clearance to go and do some investigation of the body itself. So you will find Dustin Grieber's corpse. He is a larger kid, relatively muscular. Reports say that he was found dead, I would say 2 days ago. The parents are devastated. He attended a local middle school. I think that Agent Seif can give you a little bit more information about his profile. He wasn't a particularly studious child. He actually has gotten suspended before for bullying some kids. And yeah, his record at school is not particularly stellar. So that's some information. If anyone wants to examine the body itself, they're welcome to do a medicine roll if they like.
Felix, from the moment they got in, has been looking a bit distressed because he doesn't like looking at dead bodies. and the fact that it's a kid is not helping him at the moment. But he's trying to work through it, so he'll be one of the people who looks over it.
Celeste would help him because she's actually going to be remaining extremely calm during all this. 11 plus no modifiers.
Okay. I'm gonna say that you're not gonna be able to see anything that would help you identify any specific information.
Can I look at the body and check for signs of abuse?
Yeah, you may.
Like bruising or, like knuckles or whatever.
Yeah, you can use. I'll let you use an investigate for that.
Okay.
Or first aid, whatever's higher for you.
That is a 17.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say that you might find some markings on his arms that might suggest that there was some sort of physical abuse.
He'll just point that out.
What are they writing down the cause of death as? Cardiac arrest or just unknown?
It's unknown. Their best guess is cardiac arrest, but that's unusual for a 13-year-old.
Okay.
Because, he's a bigger guy, but nothing that would suggest that it would cause something fatal.
Alright.
So...
I'm gonna go ahead and just say what I'm thinking. My first thought was the killing curse.
Are we alone in this room?
Killing curse is a good idea.
Oh.
I would only say that if we were alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're alone in this room.
Okay.
Felix is going to close his eyes and let us try. Well, didn't want to have to try this, but he's going to reach into one of his jacket pockets, and he's going to pull out his fake crystal ball, and he's going to try and use divination to try and see the moment of the death, if he can. That's a 16.
Okay.
If that's high enough, should I describe it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
You see a glowing, cascading figure, fairly short, stretch out two appendages and touch Justin's head. Within a few moments, Justin simply falls over.
Felix looks a bit comes out of it in a shock and looks a bit distressed. Oh, it wasn't a killing curse, I can say that much.
What was it?
It was this glowing, weirdly shaped, shortish in the figure. It reached out with these weird appendages, and it touched Dustin's head, and then he just collapsed dead.
Have I ever heard of a creature like that?
Roll a magical beast.
That's good. That's good. 17.
I think that there's a lot of... there are definitely a lot of fantastical beasts and creatures in the wizarding world. And even then, there are, legendary beasts that not everybody believes actually exists. That even wizards and witches think that it's just made up. So there is a creature that is... They wouldn't call it this, but it is the wizarding world's version of what they would believe a Cthulhu would be. Even though they wouldn't refer to it as a Cthulhu or a mind flayer. Some people simply refer to them as intellect devourers, even. And it's basically this creature that seems to enjoy feeding on knowledge. At least is what the legends say.
Huh. Well, the only thing that comes to mind doesn't make sense. Doesn't exist. Even we don't believe that. But intellect devourer? It's some HP Lovecraft bullshit.
It's not much of a fan of Lovecraft stuff, but alright.
It's Cthulhu intellect devourer thing. It supposedly feeds on knowledge.
I'm sorry, we're dealing with an elder god?
I don't think it's actually Cthulhu, and I don't know, because as far as I'm aware, it doesn't actually exist. It's a myth.
Who is this Lovecraft and what is this Cthulhu?
Michael.
Michael,
Muggles read H.P. Lovecraft.
this is a muggle stuff, Michael.
This is actually Muggle stuff.
I'm sorry, I don't read your obscure books, and I read Of Mice of Men and stuff in high school. I don't know what you read in high school.
Have you ever heard the term Lovecraftian horror?
No.
What kind of high school did you go to? What are American schools teaching kids?
I'm not a big horror fan. I had this one really bad Halloween experience, and it just ruined the whole thing for me.
You know what? I will give you a lesson on Lovecraft later. Let's just say he deals with horrors that are supposedly drive men mad just by the way they look.
That sounds stupid.
I don't like him either, but I had to read it.
Yeah, wasn't really a fan of those books.
What's Vienno doing?
He is not saying anything because he actually doesn't know anything about this either. It's an English book, and very different kind of English book. He hasn't read that kind of book. He's studying.
They made a few movies.
Despite the Lovecraft explanation, what has Vienno been doing this whole time?
He's been really trying to figure out what this thing. He's actually, now that he's heard what that thing can do, he's kind of afraid of that thing. He likes his knowledge. He doesn't want to give that away.
Yeah, definitely. I think the legends say that the smarter someone is, the more likely they'll become a victim.
This is not good.
Michael! I'm joking.
Once maybe
the one who doesn't know what Lovecraft horror is.
So maybe we don't want to use
Perfect person to send in there.
You're bait.
Yeah.
Wait,
Everyone go to her.
wait a minute. We are not sending anyone in alone. We go together.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
No, the fact, perhaps the little girl is just a cover for the creature for Muggles to not be afraid of it.
Yeah, maybe it's a disguise.
Don't play the shapeshifter.
Well, anyway, how do we kill it?
I don't know. Again, we don't think it's even real.
I have all I have is the Taurus ring and this ring that allows me to cast Stupefy. I don't really have a way to fight other than that.
I mean, I can punch it with magic, but I don't know how much that's gonna help.
Oh, you also have the Aquarius ring. Remember that?
Yes, but I
Bringing all of these rings with us, doesn't that sound dangerous?
I mean, it's better than having it somewhere else.
Locked away?
Who knows?
Michael, some of us know spells that can undo locks.
Okay, we've already manufactured a thing that can erase wizards' memories.
It's tricky, but I don't know how we. I don't know how we could kill it. I mean,
I think maybe we'll need to be very cautious when dealing with this thing. Whatever.
Definitely no one go anywhere alone.
Yeah, we all stick together, Michael.
I mean, just like the report said before, there were groups of kids and people ended up dying anyway, so...
Well, I think that's because the girl ended up luring them away. That's the most likely scenario.
Yes.
Plus, they were kids.
Kids run off.
And a police officer who might have a reason to go off and lead this kid away somewhere to try and find her parents or something.
Well, regardless, as long as we kill it, it's whatever.
Well, so we're not going to try and capture it?
It's a cop killer and a child killer. You really think we're just going to let this thing walk?
I have to agree with Michael on this one.
Yeah, I don't want to get anywhere close to that thing.
Ooh,
And I don't want it in the prison either.
I
Yeah.
don't,
To be strangers.
Huh.
Felix looks a bit conflicted.
I admit, it raises an interesting question about whether or not it could kill me, considering my weird limitations. But
I just had a sudden, out of character, I just had a sudden thought of you guys would disguise Vienno to look like a high schooler, and Vienno will go to the playgrounds, you know, going out, look at me, I just got into Junior Jeopardy, look at me.
And the funny thing is, he's not even the youngest person in our group. That's me.
Yeah.
E equals MC squared.
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem. Euler's method.
Vienno, or Felix, have either of you actually heard of these creatures in your magical studies? Have you heard anything about what could kill them?
Well, magic zoology wasn't really my interest. My interest was more in astronomy and herbology.
And Lovecraftian stories.
Look, I'm not even that big of an expert on it. It's just this. It's a household name.
Is it?
That's
Stephen
fucking
King
weird.
is a household name.
Stephen King was inspired by Lovecraft.
Really?
Yes. Stephen King
Like I
actually.
said, I don't read horror. I just know that name.
But I don't like going in without knowing more, because who knows what could or couldn't kill it. If it's a shape changer, how would we even recognize it?
Let's just go to that school again and do some
Well,
research.
We do have a name.
Can't go back to Ilvermorny now. That would be waste too many questions. And also, that would take a lot of time. And Ilvermorny's all the way up in Boston.
Where are we? We're in Salem, Massachusetts.
Look, I'm not the best at geography, alright?
Road.
Phew. No, let's go maybe look at some of the dump site. Try and find that bridge. Maybe we can find more clues there. Right now, we
Yeah.
just don't have enough information.
All we have is a name that it could be going with.
True, if it goes off the name of its last victim,
Yeah, and that would be Dustin.
Dustin.
No,
And we have a general description.
yeah, so, and we have a location actually. So, let's stake out there, keep our eye out, and just be alert. And we do not approach anyone alone. We try and contact keep in contact at all times, and just stake the area out and see if we can spot them.
Yes. If we do have to split up the question, children go in pairs and stay within eyesight.
So where are you guys going?
I think we're gonna go to the park, I guess.
You're going to the park. Okay. So, you will make your way to Salem Willows Park. It hasn't changed that much, Michael, since you were last here. When you embarked from your car, that smell of the ocean water smells very familiar to you. And if you guys start wandering around, you'll see a small playground area, which consists of like some swings and like a seesaw and maybe like one of the little horsey rocky things, and a jungle gym, and that's it. But definitely like one of the areas that is more people are around and a lot of kids are running around is on the beachy area.
Alright.
There are also a bunch of signs, "Have you seen this child?" Which look like they were freshly placed. It is an Asian child, Yoshi Hideo, is the "Have you seen this child?" You actually see a bunch of flyers posted around. Last seen at this park, last seen at this park 5 days ago.
Alright. Let's keep our ears out for the name Yoshi.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, we're gonna probably just stake out the area and keep our eyes out.
So, Michael, you start investigating, maybe asking around, and you actually find a bunch of kids, I would say 11 years old, who mentioned that they knew one of the kids that had disappeared, not at this park, but at another park in Salem. The child Colette Donovan, which is someone who disappeared about a month-ish ago. And if you want to like ask them questions, you can ask them questions.
So were you there when young Colette disappeared?
Yeah, we were there. We had just gotten ice cream from the ice cream man, and Colette needed to go to the bathroom afterwards, and she didn't come back.
I see. And about how long did you wait for her?
Maybe 10 minutes? And then we went to go to the bathroom to check, but she wasn't there. And then we went to go to see if she was back with her mom, but she wasn't back yet.
I see. And she wasn't talking to anyone beforehand, or like besides you?
We were talking to a lot of kids. Although there was this one girl that started talking to us earlier. She says her name was Janie.
I see. So this girl stuck out to you?
Yeah, she was dressed in kind of dirty clothes, actually. And she smelled kind of bad.
I see.
But we didn't say anything.
How did she sound? Did she sound different, or?
What do you mean different?
Like not from here? Or?
I don't think so. I don't think she sounded different.
Okay.
We haven't seen her since. We've been to the park a few times, especially to go looking for Colette, but I don't think we ever saw her again. The other girl, Janie.
This other girl, did she seem to be with anyone else, or?
We never asked. We don't know.
Okay. And what did she look like? She had black hair, right, and raggedy clothing.
They'll nod.
What about eye color?
What about eye color, Adam, out of character?
Different colors for each eye. One is green and the other is violet.
Her eyes were really cool. One was green and the other one was violet.
Ah, yeah. That is very unique. Well, thank you for all your help. I really appreciate it.
Sure, mister. And they'll go back to what they were doing.
Yeah.
Fiano, roll us an observe, please.
Great. 11.
You're wandering around in the beach, and I'm going to say that you're going to step onto a hat of some sort on the beach, and normally, like, you find random pieces of clothing all along the beach all the time, but for whatever reason, something in your gut's just telling you that this hat is significant. It's like a baseball cap of some sort.
I pick up the hat and turn it over, looking inside of it.
You'll take the hat, you'll turn it over, and so this is a relatively nice looking cap of a local baseball team. I don't know what the local baseball team is in Salem, but you'll find that there is a written inside of it is in black marker. It says the name Yoshi in it.
Oh, seeing that, this is not good. I call the others. I found a hat here. Does the name Yoshi sound familiar?
Oh, great.
Yeah, this is not
Well, you will come meet me there.
okay. I keep them where I am at.
Yeah. It had been half buried in the sand, so
Yeah.
it was really hard to anyone to find, but you managed to find it. So all the agents will gather, and you have...
What is this?
I just did a search. So this is a baseball cap for the Salem Red Sox. They have a Salem Red Sox.
That makes sense.
Looks like there was another victim.
Yes.
Wow.
Especially with the tide and whatnot, it wouldn't be easy to find any other evidence around here. Since that poster said it was gone for, 5 days?
This tells that that girl has been here,
Yes.
and pretty recently, most likely.
Felix is going to try and get somewhere high up, maybe even on the bridge itself, and try and see if he can spot the girl.
On what bridge?
On the well, isn't there a bridge nearby?
No.
Uh,
No.
he's going to.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna listen to hear if anyone else is mentioning the name Yoshi. Just try and hear,
Okay.
because I have very good hearing.
Yeah, I mean, you can roll, but honestly, I don't think anyone's going to mention his name here, honestly. Other than the random person who's, like, reading the sign at the time and saying, have you seen this kid? Blah, blah, that's...
My thought was that I'd be listening out for, maybe a girl using that name.
Ah, yeah. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Felix
I'm
is
gonna
just
say
going to, get out into an open area. And he's just going to look around where maybe it's near where a bunch of kids are playing. He's just going to keep an eye out for any girls that match that description.
Yeah. I'm going to say you'll spend some time looking for girls that match that description, but I'm going to say you're not going to see anyone particularly, dressed definitely in the way that has been described.
I want to get a hold of Scythe real quick.
This is Agent Sight. What can I do for you?
Yes, we saw the various disappearances from the parks that have been reported. Has there been a pattern with which parks have been hit when? Is there a cycle? One that's being hit more than the others?
Let me go and line things up. Okay, so taking reports of where all of the actual abductions and disappearance took place, whoever is doing it does seem to be migrating around. So there's a disappearance here, then there's one over here, there's one over here, almost in a circular fashion. But they all seem to be within a 15-mile radius.
So, out of curiosity,
Like a 15-mile radius.
let's assume that the most recent abduction happened here in the Willow Park. Going in that circle, where would the next one be?
The next park over?
Yes.
The next park over would be a park called Collins Cove. Collins Cove Park.
Alright.
If there's a pattern to this, we might want to try and get ahead of it.
Alright. Let's get going then.
We should properly inform the family of
Yes.
Yoshi.
Let's hold on to the hat for now, though. We don't want to miss the opportunity to save another kid if they're going to attack again today.
Yeah, we should.
We should at least scout the area.
Yeah.
I will look up the contact information and take note of it, so I can contact them when we can.
Yeah.
So you guys will head over to that park, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. Once you're there, roll and investigate, please, everyone. One of the things that while you're doing some investigating, you're going to find another group of kids who mentioned that they saw a girl recently fitting the description that you guys were talking about hanging out on the swings 2 days ago. And eyewitnesses have said that when she left the park, she was heading to the southwest.
All right, so we have a lead. We should check out what's the area southwest of this park.
That's gonna take you towards where the Salem Witch Trial Museum is. In that direction. There's also the Salem Witch Trials Memorial in that direction.
All right.
Any bridges over there?
Yes, there is. So, Congress Street, if any of you want to look at the map, Google Maps, Congress Street in Massachusetts, there is a bridge that crosses over the South River. It's to the east of Peabody Street Park, which actually is where the second missing child was reported, was from Peabody Street Park.
We should check that area out.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
The wizards and witches should know that there is definitely a bit of a community, a witches and wizards community in Salem, rightfully so. You would have to pass by the entrance to that neighborhood in order to get to this bridge, just as an FYI.
Yeah. Let's... Felix is going to bring that up to the others, and Michael in particular. We might have to pass by a magical neighborhood to get there. So...
I mean, as long as we don't cause any trouble, I don't see why it would be a problem.
Yeah.
Sure, muggles pass by there all the time.
Yeah, we should be fine. Just be careful, everyone.
Unless you wanted to see if we could ask any of them questions. But then they would ask who we're working for.
Yeah. We should be careful about this.
Yes.
As you guys are driving, I'm going to say that Michael, he will notice this more than the others because to the others this is normal. You suddenly start seeing a heck of a lot of owls flying around in the sky once you hit a certain part of Salem. And each of these owls seem to be carrying something in their claws or in their hands that looks like packages.
Huh. It's like, this place has an owl infestation or something.
Oh,
What?
those are messenger owls.
Oh,
That-
yeah, those are messenger owls.
That's our wizarding mail system.
That can teleport. Why do you need a mail system if you can teleport?
Not everyone can teleport.
Yeah,
And then- Like, people were sending messages with their wands to, like...
Not everyone knows that.
Not everyone knows that. Owls are just more reliable and, quite frankly, they make good pets.
yeah.
Oh.
I used to have an owl.
Oh, yeah, I had an owl too. Meh. He's
I
not
guess we shouldn't shame people for not knowing things, but alright.
I'm just, they make good pets.
Yeah, we're just...
We're owl exterminating.
Surprisingly, a lot of wizards and witches have owls
Some have cats.
as pets.
Yeah, some of the lizards, actually.
Yeah. I actually had an Arctic fox.
And you use them to send messages?
Well, no, but...
Sometimes it's like a family owl that sends the messages.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. It would take hours to explain it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, when you guys are parked at a stop sign, you hear a thump on the roof of the car, and when you look up, you see the head of a ginger owl look down and starts pecking at the window. Peck, 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 peck.
What? Felix is going to look and see if it's a messenger owl.
It's definitely a messenger owl, and it's pecking on your car window right now. Peck, 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 peck.
Felix is going to open the window.
Was expecting a message.
You open the window, and this adorable-looking ginger owl, because I like my gingers.
Of course.
The ginger owl flies over the window and then tosses a package that plops on Vienno's lap.
Ooh.
Well,
Ah.
I was not expecting a package today. Let's see. Do I see who it's from?
Yeah, so the return address is Tobias Petrov. Tobias Petrov is the return address. And he seems to have a letter for you. There's also a second item in your package, which is just the newspaper that you subscribe to. Like a wizard's newspaper. So I don't know which one you open first.
I opened the letter first. I can read the paper later.
The letter reads, Dear Mr. Seppa, you don't know me, and I actually found your name during some of my research, but I was hoping you could help me. I am a student in Koldovstorets out in the Russian Sea. I was also one of the champions of the Zodiac Games, which just finished recently. Anyway, not to bore you with all of the nitty-gritty details, I found something during our adventures in Castello Brushu that I was hoping you could help me with. I found this bizarre-looking chamber that I think is from a puzzle spirit, and within the chamber I found a puzzle box. It took me a while to figure out how to open it, but inside was this ring. I haven't been able to figure out what the ring does, and I was wondering if maybe you might be able to help me identify it. If so, please respond back, and I would love to meet you. Signed, Tobias Petrov.
Toby!
Oh my god!
Toby!
Oh,
When
no.
he read this, after he's reading this, he starts muttering in Finnish.
What is it? What is it, Vienna?
He's trying to calm himself down with trying to find the right words. Trying to translate back from Finnish to English.